The Eagles secured a pivotal win over the visiting Dallas Cowboys on Sunday afternoon. I've gone through all the tape, and these are my 5 favorite plays from this game. And we're going to start on the opening drive on offense. Play number 5, a 12-yard touchdown run with running back Kenny Gainwell taking the handoff from Jalen Hurts. And there's so much to like from this play, because what this is going to be inside zone weak. And the reason why it's called weak is that you've got the tight end over to the left side. That's where Dallas is going to be dedicating a lot of their extra bodies. You look over to the right side, no tight end, less congestion over there defensively. So they're running a zone play to the right. Now, this is a little bit of a wrinkle off their inside zone, because what you're going to see is Tyler Steen block the defensive tackle that is lined up across from him, with Jason Kelce folding inside to handle the play side linebacker. But before we even get there, the most pivotal block comes from tackle Lane Johnson. He has got to get a kickout block on this defensive end and try and widen this lane for both Jason Kelce and Kenny Gainwell. If he is able to widen this lane, and then if Tyler Steen is able to get this pin down on this defensive tackle, well, now you've got Jason Kelce serving as basically what is a fullback here on this play, inserting up into this gap between the guard and the tackle and handling that backside linebacker. And that's exactly what happens. Kelce gets his hat on a hat. He's able to get up to the backer. Landon Dickerson does a great job on the backside as well. He handles the backside linebacker. And you've got Devontae Smith up at the third level. He's handling the corner, and Kenny Gainwell goes in basically untouched and leaps into the end zone for a touchdown. Now, really quickly, before we get into the rest, I want you to just take a look at this from the sideline angle, because you're going to see too, one big element of this play is the fact that the Eagles didn't have to block everybody in the Dallas front, because when you've got Jalen Hurts, when you've got the threat of the tight end screen, of the wide receiver screen, you've got to make sure that you have all of your bases covered defensively. So Jalen Hurts, when he takes the snap and you get that backfield action, this little read here, you can see they're not blocking Micah Parsons. They're not blocking the blitzing corner. You've got 3 other defenders there on the backside. So you've got 5 white jerseys with 4 eligible ball carriers on the backside. The numbers are in the Eagles' advantage, and that's why Kenny Gainwell is untouched, because the Dallas Cowboys have to defend all 53 1/3 yards on the width of the field. The Eagles take advantage, and Gainwell gets the scoring started. It's the second opening drive touchdown for the Eagles this year. Kenny Gainwell gets into the end zone. Now, let's transition to play number 4. And we're going to go from the beginning of the game all the way to the end. There's about 3 minutes left. The Cowboys are driving. They're looking to take the lead here late in this football game. And Brandon Graham comes up with a pivotal sack to put the Cowboys behind the sticks. Now, Brandon Graham is lined up at left defensive end. He's matched up on the right tackle, Terrence Steele. And BG talked after the game saying that all these other reps beforehand, he saw Terrence Steele quick set him. And what a quick set is means that he's going to jump out laterally. Instead of getting vertical with his pass set, he is going to go on the offensive, Terrence Steele, and try and get into Brandon Graham fast. Don't let him build momentum as a bull rusher. Try and stop the momentum fast by quick setting him and getting into his face. So Brandon Graham, he played off of that quick set, and he knew instead of trying to work right through Terrence Steele or trying to work on the outside edge, that he was going to put his left foot in the ground and work inside, cross face, and attack that inside shoulder. Now, there's one big thing that BG has to avoid, because this running back in the backfield, Rico Dowdle, he is releasing through the B gap, through that gap between the guard and the tackle. So there's a chance that there could be a collision here. BG shows a really nifty athletic move, getting skinny and avoiding contact with the running back, and now he's one-on-one with Dak Prescott. And watch what BG does. That inside arm goes right for the football with Dak Prescott. He uses the outside arm to secure the quarterback and does not let him out of his grasp. BG able to get home for a pivotal sack there to bring up 2nd and long. And again, put the Cowboys behind the sticks. Now, really quickly, before we move to the next play, because this is related, I want you to watch Jalen Carter on the backside. He is one-on-one with the left guard, Tyler Smith. Now, Tyler Smith was a first-round pick, a top 15 selection out of Tulsa a year ago. So this is his 2nd year in the NFL. And I'll tell you what, watching Jalen Carter and Tyler Smith go head-to-head, belly-to-belly, hand-to-hand over the course of this entire game was a treat. You got to go back and watch the film of this one, because these guys exchange exchanged blows back and forth, the constant hand fighting and violent collisions over the course of this game was something to watch. On this play, Tyler Smith was able to get the better of Jalen Carter. But on the very next snap, we get to play number 3, and that's this sack from Jalen Carter and from Brandon Graham. Again, you've got BG lined up at left defensive end. You've got Fletcher Cox inside him with Jalen Carter and Josh Sweat on the opposite side. Look at how fast Jalen Carter wins here as he wins with a double hand swipe. That's been a patented move from Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox has won so many reps with this double hand swipe where he's able to basically swipe the hands away from Tyler Smith's punch, all while gaining ground. He's able to get into the backfield, turn the corner, and get home to Dak Prescott. Now, he ends up splitting this sack with Brandon Graham. As you look over on the other side, what does BG do? He again wins on that inside gap. So Jalen Carter, he grabs Dak Prescott by the waist. He holds him up. Brandon Graham's able to get home for the sack. One other element here I want to make sure you keep an eye on. Look at Fletcher Cox. This is a really smart rush from Fletcher Cox because he comes off the ball, and again, he tries to win with that same double hand swipe, right? Once he sees that he's got the extra attention of the Dallas offensive line, you can see Tyler Biadasz sliding that way. Well, now Fletcher Cox knows, you know what, I'm probably not going to get home on this rush, but let me make sure that I contain, because the only way Dak is getting out of this is if he steps up into the teeth of the rush and escapes through that B gap. Again, Brandon Graham talked about this after the game. He said that we know that Dak Prescott loves to escape up through the B gap. So Fletcher Cox retraces, gets back over that way just in case Dak tries to step up. Fletcher Cox will be there waiting for him, but it's not needed. Jalen Carter and Brandon Graham are able to finish this off for a sack. This drive ends with a turnover on downs, a critical play. That was actually a great play in coverage by James Bradbury. Gets the Eagles defense off the field. Dallas was moving on this drive, but these 2 sacks by Brandon Graham and Jalen Carter, that's why they belong in the top 5 most impactful plays of this game. So there's play number 4, play number 3. Let's go to play number 2. And one of the big things I wanted to watch here in this game was how Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense would handle a very difficult Dallas defense, because they can put so much pressure on you in a lot of different ways, not just with that rush, but also with the way that they like to play coverage. They play as much man coverage as anybody. They love to play single high safety. And on this play, it's 3rd and 9, and you look at the pre-snap look. You see the safety Malik Hooker in the post. You see what looks to be press man coverage across the board. Now, if you're Jalen Hurts and you've got what you believe to be press man coverage, you've got a 3-by-1 set, 3 receivers to the left with A.J. Brown on the right. Stands to reason you would think, you know what? It's 3rd and long. I'm going to let A.J. Brown make a play. He's going on a vertical route here outside the numbers. I'm going to let A.J. go and make a play. So Jalen Hurts takes the snap. He drops back. He takes a peek at that safety. But look at the safety, Malik Hooker. He's not dropping to the middle of the field. He's actually getting width. He's getting to the deep half. So he's playing over top of A.J. Brown. This is not going to be single high man coverage. Instead, it looks like it's going to be too high. Look at Jalen's eyes. He sees, you know what, that throw's not there to me. Let me double check what I'm actually getting now. Instead of getting single high man, this is actually too high zone. Look at this safety here. He was initially lined up across from Devontae Smith in coverage. It looked like it was going to be man-to-man. That defensive back gets on his horse, and he gets to the deep half. This is going to be cover 2. And so now Jalen Hurts has to process this on the fly. It's not single high man. It's now too high zone. Where are the soft spots? Where can I attack in this coverage? He's got Dallas Goedert coming on a shallow cross. But if he hits Dallas, the Eagles are going to punt. This is going to be tackled short of the sticks for a first down. But you also have a deep crossing route from Devontae Smith. So Jalen has to wait for this to open. He has to wait for Devontae to cross the face of that nickel corner, Jordan Lewis. And look at the ball here from Jalen Hurts, stepping up in the pocket and delivering over the underneath defender, underneath the safety, on the money to Devontae Smith. This goes 19 yards on 3rd and 9 to set up a touchdown that Jalen Hurts would end up scoring later in this drive. This was my favorite Jalen Hurts throw of the afternoon, one of his best throws from the season when you take into account the post-snap read. I thought this was big time from Jalen Hurts and what was a gutsy performance for a lot of different reasons. And we know Jalen Hurts not feeling 100% with that knee, him being able to step up and make the plays he made in this game. We saw the touchdown to Devontae Smith down the left sideline to start things off in the 3rd quarter. We saw the scrambles. We saw the big plays he was able to make. But this was my favorite because of the read, because of the pressure, because of the disguised look from the defense, understanding what he had, and then delivering a perfect throw in the middle of the field. big time from Jalen Hurts. That's play number 2. Let's go now to play number 1 because this one has so much going for it. It's 28-23. The Dallas Cowboys have just scored a touchdown. They're going for 2 to make this a 3-point game. What do we see here from the Cowboys? They come out in 11 personnel. Initially, it's an empty set. Now they're going to reset here and bring everybody tight to the formation. This looks like it's going to be a running play. You've got one tight end attached to the formation. You've got Tony Pollard in the backfield, and you've got a play action fake. What Dak Prescott is hoping to get here after he turns his back to the defense is Brandon Cooks running to the back corner of the end zone. That's where Dak's eyes go first. Then you've got on the back side of that, Jalen Tolbert coming on the deep crosser in the back of the end zone. So my understanding of the read would be that it would be Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert to the check down. Now, let's bring this back. What they're hoping for in order for Brandon Cooks to be wide open is safety Kevin Byard to bite on this run fake. But does Byard bite on it? No. Look at how disciplined he stays in coverage. He sinks back, gets depth. He takes that throw away. So Dak Prescott, he can't go to his initial read. Now, is he able to go through to his second read? He's not. Why? Because he's got a defensive tackle right in his face. Jalen Carter did an outstanding job getting off the ball and bench pressing the center back into Dak Prescott's lap. So now Dak has to roll to his right. And as soon as he rolls to his right, what happens? It's scramble drill. All the receivers for Dallas, they know that they have to make themselves available for the quarterback when he breaks the pocket. Because if he's rolling to his right with all of those receivers rolling left, Dak will have nowhere to go with the football. So look at Jalen Tolbert in the back of the end zone. He sees Dak break the pocket, and now he knows he has to retrace. But look at James Bradbury. Watch what Bradbury does here. He sees the body language change, and look what Bradbury does off that. He pushes him out of bounds. This is a perfectly legal play, a heads-up play from James Bradbury, because you are allowed to impact a wide receiver when the quarterback has broken the pocket. So Bradbury has basically eliminated Jalen Tolbert from contention for a play here. Dak Prescott's not going to be able to throw him the football. This is going to be a race to the pylon. It's Brandon Graham versus Dak Prescott, and Dak wins the race. He gets to the edge, dives for the pylon, and it's good. It's a conversion. They call it on the field that it's going to be a successful 2-point play, but review would show that that is not the case. And why? Let's go to the end zone angle to take a look, because again, we're going to look at Brandon Graham here. He's lined up once again at left defensive end. He knifes inside because of the run fake. He's going to play here in this C gap here between the tackle and the tight end. But once he sees that it is not a run, look at Brandon Graham. Look at the effort. He immediately goes into a full sprint. Dak Prescott feels it. He knows that 55's coming for him, and now he rounds off this angle. If BG loafs for even a second, this is going to be an easy walk-in score for Dak Prescott. But because BG puts in full effort, now Dak has to round this out. He's got to go for the pylon, and one step short, he steps out of bounds. The conversion is no good. The Eagles keep it a 5-point game, and now that completely changes the scope of the entire final drive for the Cowboys, because instead of needing just a field goal, now they need to score a touchdown. The Cowboys get into scoring range. We know how the rest of this story ends. Josh Sweat gets a pivotal sack. The Cowboys can't convert, and the Eagles are able to walk away with the victory. They go into the bye week with a big win over the Cowboys, and these 5 plays were the biggest reason why.